and please don't take this the wrong way as if I'm shouting from the mountaintops, beating my chest. But the fact of the matter is, this story's only gotten stronger.
We'll go out to the guest line here. And if you're watching PhillyVoice.com or listening on the stream as well, we bring in from, Philly Voice and a couple of other places, as Santoliquito has been covering the world of sports from boxing to everything Philadelphia, ringtv.com, boxing writers, and of course, PhillyVoice.com. You can follow Joe on Twitter at Santoliquito, which is Santoliquito. What's happening, Joe?
Hey, guys, how are you?
Doing great, man.
You look good, man.
Joe.
I look good. I never look good. I woke up in the morning. I looked at myself in the morning. I like, oh my God, is that me? It happens every morning. I look at myself in the mirror. I never look good. Come on, man.
You feel okay, right? Here's my question. Okay,
it was well intended, Eitan. I mean,
I should have known. Joe doesn't pull, pardon the pun, as a boxing writer connoisseur, any punches.
Yeah, I look like the guy that got punched.
Here's my question, okay?
Yes, sir.
Take this any way you want. You and I, we go back, Harry forever, Brooksy forever as well.
Oh, yeah.
So I ask you this as somebody who knows and respects your work for years across the board. With this second piece, going back to the one you wrote years ago, how much do you feel vindicated?
Very vindicated. I think I felt vindicated 2 years ago. I knew what I had on my side. I knew who I recorded. I knew who I spoke to. I played those tapes to the Philly Voice folks. They knew. And much credit, by the way, before I go into anything, and I don't want to, but I need to drop people major lines here, one of which is Matt Mullen. None of this happens without Matt's belief in me and his trust in me. I went to him with, there we go. I could see better. I'll put on my glasses. I went to him with this 2 years ago with it, and he trusted and had faith in me. I did not foresee the tsunami that would come at me. I learned quite a bit from it. What disappointed me, and I know because Barrett and I have had many conversations about this, these are people that we all know, all of us know, all four of us know in the media that know me. And I'm the president of the Boxing Writers Association. I mean, think about this. I put out a controversial story. We agree. The first one was controversial. The second one is controversial too, but I put out a controversial story. And why would I do that? Why would I risk everything? Why would I risk my job at Ring Magazine? Why would I risk my job at Philly Voice? Why would I risk, I have 8 million oars in the water doing 8 zillion other things. Why would I risk all kinds of credibility by doing something that's an absolute complete falsehood? Why would I do that? I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb. And, I knew what I had on my side. I knew I had a lot of validation. And what happened with me is I got even greater validation. Is that we were preparing to do, this is the first story. And I remember, I'll never forget, literally standing behind Carson Wentz on the 14th of January, 2019. And Evan Macy, the Philly Voice sports editor, comes up to me and goes, "Where's this stand?" Because we had been collecting information and gathering stuff from the different outlets, different people, different sources. And I said, it doesn't stand anywhere because we don't have, basically we have 8, 9 guys. Can I say bitch?
Yes.
Okay, I'm allowed to say bitch? Okay. Bitching about the quarterback. And I don't really have any really serious outside source to corroborate all this. And that very night, I get a call out of the blue from someone pretty high up in the Eagles. And I said, listen, this is what I'm working on. And I run everything by him. And what was supposed to be a 10 or 15-minute conversation turns into a 2.5-hour conversation and validates about 98% of what I was told by those players. And that's what still shocked me.
Players. Yeah. You said players.
Yeah, it was numerous numerous players. And this individual validated all of that. And then he went a step further and got me someone. Now, this is Monday night, the 14th of January, 2019. That Wednesday, I think it was Super Bowl week, I believe. He gets me in touch with someone that Wednesday afternoon who validates what he validated. And then the coup de grace was after I had written that story. That story was literally physically in the NovaCare Center, NovaCare complex, before it went public. Now, obviously, I didn't send it to anybody's Eagles account. Again, I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb. And it got back to me that Friday, and I know I spoke to Barrett about this. Again, not reviewing anyone, but, the blank is true. Leave my name, the blank, out of it. You can fill in what the blanks meant. But I'm like, you know what? And then I got in touch with Matt Mullen, Evan Macy. I think we're good. I think we're gold with this. I didn't expect, again, the tsunami that was coming at me in reference to people that I've known in the media for a while, that suddenly I made it up. And I'm never down there. And I'm like, and one major media source actually saw me with a group of guys late December of 2018 in a public setting. I mean, one of the guys that was very, very critical of the first story I wrote, and I'm like, wait a second, you jackass. You saw me with 4 guys right there in front of you. Right. So, yeah. And we'll go off. And here's something, again, you guys know media as well as anyone. You have a story that you do, a story that you write, and it has a certain shelf life. And through time, that story, that shelf life crumbles. And, there's stuff that I've done, very proud of the Wentz work and very proud of the Wentz stories. But I've done stuff like a piece on Adonis Stevenson, former, light heavyweight champion who survived death twice, and it has a great shelf life of maybe 2 or 3 days. Charles Conwell, the fighter that, God rest his soul, that killed Patrick Day. Right. And that was a story that has a shelf life of a week, and then again, it falters by the wayside. This is something that I did on Monday, January 21st of 2019, that I think you guys all agree. And please don't take this the wrong way as if I'm shouting from the mountaintops, beating my chest. But the fact of the matter is, this story's only gotten stronger. Right. Its legs have only expanded, and it's only gotten stronger. And then to quote Sal Palantonio, the day of the story, it has no legs. There's no validity behind this. So what are we talking about 2 years later? We're still talking about it.
Right.
Absolutely. Right. So going from there, I don't. What's the echo? But going from there, and this new story that you put out, and you broke down, and it's coming out right now. Do you see it's going to be a little more of an aftermath after? Well, you guys are saying Carson Wentz gets traded. What do you think comes out after this? After that, rather.
I still think he gets traded because right now, from what I know, and I think what we know, there's a lot of strong feelings in that locker room against this guy, and you just can't ignore it. You just can't. You can't walk by it like this and like that. I don't want to hear it. You got to hear it if you're the Eagles. They're a smart organization. Well, they're smart. I'd like to think they're a smart organization. They're 4-11-1, but I like to think they're going to listen to some feedback. And right now, you're dealing with a situation here where, and I ask you three. I mean, can he come back? I don't think so. I think he's.
Does he want to come back?
Yeah, and and we're finding out that he doesn't, and that's bothered people too. That surprised me when all this stuff came out, and I'm thinking, you got to hear stuff. I'm talking to some of the guys. They're like, you know what? That bothered some people. He's quitting. He's not only quitting on us. He's quitting on himself. He doesn't want to compete. Who wants to follow a leader like that?
Yeah.
Who wants to turn him in? You got Mahomes running for his life that whole night last night, and guys that were still willing to play for him because why? Because he still didn't want. He didn't quit. He didn't turn around and pout on the sideline, grab his little iPad, and sit in the corner. And he didn't do any of that. Right. He still played his ass off.
And that's from your story also, that he grabs his iPad during game type situations, and he's almost untouchable in the aspect. He goes and sits there and dares anybody to come say something to him.
By himself, yeah.
Don't you come say anything to me. I'm Carson, and that's it. I've seen that happen to other people before, but not to the. Yeah, but not to the extent of that, though. You know what I mean? I played with guys that weren't really good guys, good people, but there was still a respect factor. as far as the team would go out there and fight for him. You're right. I didn't see it for Carson on this team, even though I still think that he's still going to be here. I'm still under that impression because none of it makes sense to me. But
only person on the planet, Joe.
I know, man.
Joining us, Barrett Brook, who believes that Carson Wentz will be the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles next year. I love Barrett, so I can't even say anything negative about him, but he's crazy. He's off his rocker.
Barrett, why do you feel that way? I have a leaning that he's going to be traded, but I'm like 55-45 that he'll be traded. I still think there's an element there that's going to keep him back. And that element, by the way, is Jeff Lurie and Howie Roseman. Because Lurie, I believe more and more, exactly, Lurie's the one more and more that this is his guy. But he has to look at the environment around Wentz right now. Does anybody believe in this guy? Well, we know they're willing to turn around and play for Jalen Hurts. We know that because we saw it on the field. It's the eye test. This guy here, do I really want to stretch out for a pass from Carson Wentz if it's a little beyond me?
It was the same thing with Foles years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And people 2 years ago, they didn't want to hear that.
Yeah.
3 major factors make me say this. Mm-hmm. Number one, the money factor. That's $34 million going to be sitting. That's going to be gone out of your locker room, and it's money that's going to be unaccounted for because it's going to be on another team. So that's one. Number two, the mere fact that they let a head coach go for him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's number two. And number three, which probably the most damning as far as him getting traded, is the fact that the owner loves him and wants him here, and he hired a coach to come in and take care of the situation for him. So those are the 3 things why I'm saying that, and that's why I'm pointing that direction.
Yeah, but Barrett, here's the other side of it, and I think you would agree with this, is the inner workings of a locker room. You of all people, and between the 4 of us. Guys talk. Guys in the league talk. Barrett, you have a good vibe of what's being said in that locker room, I think.
Well, I know exactly this. I talked to those guys.
Yeah. I'm going to be blunt with you, straight up. I don't think they want him back. And that's the difficult situation that the Eagles are faced with, that even if he comes back, does Carson himself want to come back? I mean, how do you explain this? As someone said to me, he's going to have to address us before he addresses his coaches or address the media. He's going to have to address his teammates.
He has to win the locker room again.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's all BS in the aspect of.
Hold on 1 sec. We got to break real quick. So we're going to wrap. Joe, hang with us for a second. Okay. We have a break. We're live on the stream as well. phillyvoice.com/the-middle and Sports Map Radio. All right. So now we have about two and a half with you, Joe.
Okay.
All right. This is why I say that. Because there was a guy that said a racial slur, receiver from Florida. What was his name?
Riley.
Who was on the team?
Huh? Riley Cooper.
Now, he was able, because the head coach and the owner decided to let him come back. All that was swept under the rug. That could initially happen here also. So, I mean, that locker room can be solidified by the owners coming in and saying, hey, this is our guy. He's going to change, yada, yada, yada. So I'm not really worried about the locker room. But I am worried about, like I said, is the money situation, and the owner and GM want him here.
Yeah. What's your sense, Barrett, when you talk to guys there? What's your sense? I mean, I'm assuming they kind of validated what – well, we may be talking to the same people. I don't know. But they may have validated what I wrote today.
Well, a lot of guys don't like him because he's not an approachable guy. So it's not really like he's not an approachable guy. Yeah. He's not a guy you're going to go out and have a beer with. He's not a guy that's going to say, all right, I'm going to go out and risk everything for him. Yeah. But at the end of the day,
preach on, Barrett. Preach on.
If they keep him in that locker room, they'll still fight for him. So, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
I think they're out on Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Hey, and I think Carson Wentz wants out of Philly. I mean, it's just he's I like to think of him, he's a smart enough guy to turn around. And the thing is, if you guys read what I wrote today, the question has to be asked. And these are guys in the locker room with him. These are NFL people. These are people that know more NFL football in the tip of their pinky than I do on my whole round body. And a couple of them, more than a couple of them said, does he want to be fixed? Does he still can he see a problem? And that's a big question, because if he was turning around denying an issue, a couple of years ago, things like that, they only fester through time. And it becomes a point where can he be pulled back?
Yes.
I tell you what, I know some people, I know some folks with the Bears. They're not crazy about this.
Yeah,
because they have Philly connections and they talk to a lot of folks here in the Philly area. Some are from Philly. They're not exactly crazy about 11 coming their way.
Yeah, screw the Bears. I hope they jump on this grenade.
Well, appreciate it, Joe.
I'll also say this. What I know is that the Bears are willing to throw more at the Eagles than the Colts are. That's what little that I know. That's what I know.
Yeah. Well, Ballard's a smart GM. The other guy, not so much.
Joe Santoliquito, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, thank you, guys.
Drop. Thank you. We appreciate everything.
Okay.
And you spending some time with us, and we'll make sure to direct everybody back to the article as well, as I'm sure everybody in the city and Delaware Valley is reading it today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Thanks, Joe.
Joining us. And look at that, we're back.
Wow. What timing.
You're good at what you do, bro.
This is a well-oiled machine.
Unless, of course, the imaging already played.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays.
Here is the one question I have following the interview we had with Joe Santoliquito, the conversations that all three of us and so many out there have had for months, maybe even years now. How is Carson Wentz remembered as a Philadelphia Eagle? 610-632.
As a stubborn brat.
Yes.
Is that not unfair, though? The guy was the MVP before he got hurt. He secured home field advantage. I'm not saying build a shrine, Harry, but can't we have some nuance in this?
Well, I mean, that's
wanted to try.
It devolved from there. To hear the more power that he was given in the contract, he became insufferable.
Yes, that's what it was, man.
With
great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah,
he didn't understand how to wield that responsibility. You cannot continue to be that guy when what you're attributing on the field doesn't match that.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter how good you think you are. If the players see that you're not doing what you need to do to help them make them a better team, they'll be out on you just as fast as we'll be out on you. So, I mean,
it became glaringly obvious to me, and I should have recognized it, for what it was when Foles came in and did what he did. The rest of the team responds to other guys. They don't respond to Carson in the same way. They did it with Jalen Hurts, and whether you want to say as well, it's because he's the backup and they feel they need to give extra effort. You see a different chemistry with every other quarterback except Carson Wentz with this team. I can't not see it anymore.
No, and that point is backed up in Joe's piece, the latest, where he's talking to people on multiple levels at the organization, from player to coach to front office, and all of them said the only people that still wanted Carson Wentz to start, Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman.
Yeah.
So think about your point already where guys are like, man, this dude is wearing on us. He's not, and then he stinks. And then there's resistance to bench him. That makes you resent that player even more, I would think.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if the head guys upstairs say, we want you here, you're going to stay here, best believe they will find a way to implement them in that locker room. Like we said, what is that receiver? I keep forgetting. I'm trying to forget his name.
Riley Cooper.
Riley Cooper. Yeah. Yes, the Riley Cooper situation. They ended up signing to a $25 million deal even after that.
Yeah.
So
he wasn't here long after that, though. Remember, that was
he still signed the deal.
We're back in.
Are you looking for a place to track your action, purchase picks, and share your sports betting